Welcome back to the Java Programmer, and in this video we start implementing our cluster commands. And so you can see here we add the implementation code to our grammar. We create several different cluster info, cluster nodes, and then we have to go and create the classes themselves. So here we stubbing out all the classes, kind of boilerplate code. I get the classes and they extend the command, which requires them to have two different methods, the print and execute. So we go through and add that to all our classes. And once we get all of that added, we go ahead and we try to do a test compile, make sure that everything still works. You'll see that here in a second. Here we go, test compile. Oh, forgot to do an import of those new classes. So I have to import the clusters package, and we get a good compile. And so our command was cluster info. Now granted, there was no Java implementation, just created the classes. So now we actually have to do something when that command gets called. So we do a client.info, which returns the info response. We're just going to basically print it out. And we see here that we failed to connect to the cluster. And this is a prevalent theme here coming up, where we're going to have to sort of rewrite the configuration because I can't seem to get connected to the cluster. So in the configuration here, we change our map from a string of objects to a string of strings. And so we go through the implementation of all of that. However, this does not fix the problem, as I realize after I do this. And the problem really is that when we do a set in the config, we do not reset the connection. So the connection still is holding the old configuration properties and not the new ones. So you can see here, still fails to connect, and I even set the port correctly, but what's happening is the connection is not getting reset in the background. So even though I changed the port, it's still holding on to the original connection. And it took me a minute to figure that out. As you can see here, I'm contemplating life, not knowing what to do. And then it hits me that these config variables are not getting set. So come in here, and I actually created a reset connection. We did that in a prior video, and now I actually run the reset connection whenever the config changes. So whether you change a parameter directly here on the command line like this, or if you load in a file, I was not resetting the connection. So there we go. We have a cluster info. Basically connects to the cluster, checks that it's up. And then cluster nodes, well, we haven't implemented that yet. So basically the same thing, except we're going to just call a different method on the client, client.nodes.info, gives a nodes response. And then we're just going to, again, just print that out. So you can see we run the client again, set the configuration. Configuration actually works. And we do a nodes, cluster nodes. Big old JSON output. We don't do much with it. It's actually not the full output. We'll come back to this later. So the next command that we focus on implementing is the cluster get command. So get to get a configuration. But we don't pull a specific variable. We just call the whole. It's called client.settings, cluster.settings. We just pull the whole config, and we see here in this first run that something's not quite right. Connect to the cluster, and the thing is that we have to tell the cluster exactly what settings we want. So we have to do a response object. And I spent a little bit of time here trying to get it right. And again, we get this sort of truncated JSON string from the cluster get. So I'm calling cluster.config.get, and I'm trying to format it in a way that I can see the cluster config. And the problem is that the JSON is configured on the cluster side via JSON P, which puts in non-JSON type strings, and so I've got to replace some stuff here. Finally I'll get it, and it's a big old output, and so there it is. So thanks for watching, and in the next video we are going to talk about generating some fake data for our cluster. So if you like these videos, please like and subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks.